It's only going to take 10 minutes. 3 hours later, you're still working on that quick task. Your entire schedule's blown and you're wondering how it happened again. If you've ever found yourself shocked when you look at the clock, or if the phrase just a minute is in your vocabulary, it actually means anywhere from 5 minutes to 3 hours, right? Welcome to time blindness, one of the most challenging aspects of having the ADHD brain as an entrepreneur. But what if I told you there's a way to work with your brain instead of against it? Let's go ahead and get right into it. Hey there, I'm Jen. Welcome back. And this is part 2 of the ADHD Entrepreneur Series. Yesterday we talked about how ADHD traits can actually be entrepreneurial superpowers. Today we're going to tackle something that trips almost every ADHD business owner that I've ever worked with up, and that is time blindness and scheduling. Now, because running a successful business absolutely requires some time management, but the traditional approach just simply doesn't work for our brains. This is kind of why it fails. Traditional scheduling methods fail so spectacularly for us because they aren't for ADHD entrepreneurs. The traditional schedules are built for neurotypical people. And they assume that you can accurately estimate how long a task will take. But with ADHD, time isn't experienced consistently. It's either now or not now. That report due next week feels like it's a distant future thing until suddenly it's due tomorrow. And with that quick email, you thought it would take 5 minutes, somehow swallowed your entire morning, right? Second, traditional schedules lack dopamine. They just don't give us a dopamine hit. Our ADHD brains are constantly seeking dopamine, and staring at a list of time slots does not light up those reward pathways in our brains. So even if you are making a beautiful schedule, our brains aren't motivated to follow it. And third, the traditional schedules don't account for transition time or recovery periods. Right? So they assume you can seamlessly switch from one task to another, which is especially difficult for ADHD brains that struggle with task switching. The result is you make a schedule, immediately fall behind, feel like a failure, and abandon it altogether. Usually by day 2, sound familiar? Rinse and repeat. So, time blocking with buffer zones. What works instead? Let's start with the time blocking. But with an ADHD-friendly twist. Traditional time blocking has you scheduling every minute of your day. Our version uses a flexible block with mandatory buffer zones. We're going to go right into that. So instead of scheduling specific tasks at specific times, you create broader categories of work, like client work, content creation, admin tasks, and assign them to larger chunks of your day. The critical part, buffer zones. For every 60 minutes you schedule, you have to add a 15 to 20 minute buffer. These aren't breaks, although you'll need those too. They're overflow zones for your time blindness, because it's going to inevitably kick in. Let me show you what this looks like in practice. I'm going to show you a sample schedule. Sorry, I'm having issues uploading on this platform, so like screenshots right now. So basically what you want to do is give yourself a buffer zone. That way, if your creative work runs over, you're still okay. Also, what I put in my calendar is deep work is what I call it. I don't put in like every little tiny thing. It's just too much for my brain. So I kind of give myself a leeway of what I'm allowed, like what I can work on within that deep work. Another key point is never schedule more than 75% of your available work hours. This feels counterintuitive to some of us, but I promise it leads to getting more done, not less. The remaining 25% is where all the unexpected stuff that comes from running a business will fit in, okay? Now let's add some tools that make time visible and provide external structure our ADHD brains really need. Visual timers are a game changer. They are I bought like a 5-minute timer off of Amazon. Just get it. I think I like the physical timer better than using my phone because I like to put my phone away so it won't distract me. It's going to be a game changer for time blindness. Unlike a regular clock that requires you to calculate elapsed time, visual timers show time disappearing, which is a much easier, it's much easier for our brains to process that, okay? So one of my favorites is the time timer, which shows like a little red disc and it gradually disappears as time passes. But there's also some great apps like Forest or like the Pomodoro timers that gamify the experience, giving you that dopamine hit. The key is to make time visible and concrete rather than abstract. We get nowhere with abstract, okay, with our brains. External accountability is another powerful tool. Our ADHD brains are often much better at keeping commitments to others than ourselves, right? So this might look like a body double, like I've talked about in previous videos. Someone to work alongside you, even if it's virtually. There are virtual body doubling systems now. A scheduled check-in with a colleague or a coach or a family member to keep yourself accountable. Even like FocusMate it's called FocusMate, and it pairs you with an accountability partner for working sessions. So I have my own accountability group that I'm developing, but I'm not there yet. So I will keep everybody posted on that. I'm beginning to coach some clients right now, and I want to kind of see how the process goes, and I want to learn and improve from there. So I'm doing some testing right now. So let's talk about the Swiss cheese method. For our action step, the Swiss cheese method, this is my favorite technique for ADHD entrepreneurs dealing with big projects. The concept is simple. Instead of trying to tackle a project from start to finish, you poke holes in it like Swiss cheese by completing small, manageable parts, whenever you have the time or motivation. Guys, this has changed my freaking life, okay? In any order that it works for you. And how it's worked for me personally is, when I was starting to set all my stuff up, all my content creation and email lists and all this stuff that I'm having to do and create content, touch up my website and keep up with all this stuff. It was so overwhelming, even when I was developing my original program. But this has worked because it's like, okay, I did a little bit here and a little bit there, and then everything just starts like compiling, right? And it's like, oh my God, like I actually have a business now. So definitely try this at least a couple times. And I'm almost like sure it's going to work for you. So you basically take a project you've been working on or have been avoiding, and you break it down into the smallest possible tasks. I'm talking like 5 to 15 minute chunks, and write each mini task on a separate card or in a list. And then whenever you have a small pocket of time or a burst of motivation, grab one task and complete it, cross it off, celebrate that small win. That's going to give you the dopamine boost. For example, if you're creating a new lead magnet, your Swiss cheese might include brainstorm 3 title ideas, find one stock image for the cover, then write the introduction paragraph and create one simple graphic, and then format one page. Okay, so that would be like an example of that. The beauty of this approach is that it works with your ADHD brain to kind of like go off on tangents, but keeps you in that keeps you in that main area, so to speak. It allows variable motivation and energy. So you're not forcing yourself to work in a linear fashion, which is for neurotypical brains. And each completed task gives you a dopamine hit that can fuel momentum, right? So your action step today is to try the Swiss cheese method on one project this week, just one. And take something you've been procrastinating on, break it into 5 to 15 minute tasks, and start poking holes in whatever you have like a moment or feel a burst of motivation. Share your experience in the comments and let me know how many cheese holes you're able to poke by the end of the week. All right, guys, see you next time, and have a great day. Bye-bye.